So once again, I absolutely don't want to do this video, and I feel part of that is that over the last few days, my perception of what it means to win has shifted. Because when I started this streak of, well, not really uploading, but at least making a 30-minute video every single day, simply sitting down and making that video already was a win to me. And that was actually an incredibly healthy attitude because those wins were completely within my own control. It is 100% my own control whether I make a video or not. And now, over the last few days, I have felt like shit a lot of times. And I think part of the reason is, it's never one reason, but part of the reason is that I have stopped seeing certain actions or taking certain actions as a win. And I have started to wait for certain outcomes and to only see them as wins. And of course, after about 1.5 weeks of doing something, there are no outcomes whatsoever. And so I didn't feel like I made any progress. Now, you can of course question whether consistently doing the same thing really is progress. I'm not completely sure about that. I think it's about building a fundament of consistently taking the same actions, and then also making improvements, or at least variations, or maybe let's call them experiments, in order to see how you can improve the actions that you're taking. So today I truly don't have anything to talk about, and I also felt like shit today. And so what I will try to do is use the Canva board from yesterday's video again, even though the user experience is incredibly bad, to be honest, at least on the computer. And I will try and to figure out how I can make tomorrow better and why today sucked so hard for me. And I think I will be using some text for this. So let's see. Oh, this sucks. This is great. Now, I will start with basically, god damn it, with basically, come on, no, it's gone. I will start with bringing back the, no, there it is, oh my fucking god. I want to move it. I shouldn't have done this. Let's try again. Oh, that's also not what I wanted to do. Here we go. So essentially, I will start with the things or the habits that I try to be consistent in with right now. Let's call it current habits. And this is basically what it really is my priority list. And so number 1 is get up at 4 a.m. Which might already be the reason why today was not so good, because the more I do it, the more I think that getting up so early does not match well with my personal sleep rhythm. I think getting up at 6 is way better, but there's something incredibly depressing about getting up and immediately going to work in the morning, which I would do if I was getting up at 6 a.m. and then basically having to do all the things that improve your personal life after coming home from work. And so it's so much cooler to get up early at 4 a.m. and do the most important things for myself first and then go to work afterwards. But at the same time, I'm not really feeling like the things that I am doing in the morning are really effectively moving my life forward. And so might as well get up at 6 a.m. and not be tired for my entire life because I'm getting up too early. But for now, I'm getting up at 4 a.m. and I've done this for 2 days, and I will try to do it consistently for 2 weeks and see if maybe over time my sleep rhythm gets used to getting up so early. I'm doubting it, to be honest, but I will see. Let's try to get a proper list going. And then number 2 is, I don't know, let's call it 2 hours exercise, which is really just some stretching exercises that I do, or mostly stretching exercises that I try to do every single day. Because I'm 22 years old at the moment and I can't really run without having some pain or some ache somewhere in my body. And this has been the case for years. And so I try to improve my physical condition with 2 hours of exercise per day. And then it's basically 1 hour of YouTube. I already talked about this. The idea is to make one 30-minute video in order to improve my ability to speak. And also, even though with the last few videos this hasn't really worked so well, I also want to try to just think more clearly about how I can improve my life by talking to a camera. And then the last thing is 1 hour of school, which I'm not going to hit today, but the minimum level here is to write 1 comment on school every single day, and this I have already done. And it's basically meditation. And the idea here is, which I have also horribly failed today, to not do, because this is like a priority list, and so essentially you can also argue like don't or not watch useless YouTube videos. And so the idea is that meditation, like this is an idea that I have taken from the old OG Hamza videos, that it's essentially better to just sit in your room and do nothing, which meditation feels like for me, than it is to get distracted by doing stupid stuff. But I have watched a bunch of YouTube videos today. And so this is basically all the plan, the entirety of my plan that I have to improve my life, to just do these things daily. It's not very, well, not a very deep plan when I look at it like this. Anyways. And so then I want to figure out why today sucked. Or basically, really, it's like, what did I do that made the day worse than it had to be? And the first thing is basically can I change how the text is aligned? I think I can. Yeah. This has basically to do with my attitude, and it's to basically see taking actions as a win and fuck results. So again, basically if I take an action, that's a win, and the results do or don't come. Currently, they don't come, but it is what it is. And then there's a don't, which is arguably, I think it really fucked up my mind today. Watch YouTube while eating. That's something I definitely should not repeat tomorrow. And by the way, if anyone is watching this for some reason, stop watching this video. I doubt that there will be anything useful coming in this video. But what you should do instead is you should ask yourself, especially if you're watching this late at night or in the evening, ask yourself, what did I do today that made the day worse than it had to be? And then try not doing those things tomorrow. I think that's a way better use of your time. So don't watch YouTube while eating. And then it's basically attitude. See work as a way to improve yourself. And because what I did today, I was working from home and I got distracted again and again, took too long breaks and barely got anything done. And the underlying reason for this is that I used to believe that having like a normal job is just a massive, purposeless pit for wasting time. And I don't think that is completely wrong. but it can also be an opportunity to kind of improve yourself. Because, especially today, and also just generally at work, there are many moments where I feel resistance to do certain things for work. And this is actually a problem that I also have. So let's write this down. I will try to write and speak. And so I don't think I'm capable of writing and speaking. Oh God. And so at work, when I feel this resistance to something, to do something, if I actually push myself to do it, well, then I have trained my ability to push through resistance. And also, and this is a way bigger problem, when I think that, or the real problem is that basically always after work, I feel incredibly drained, even when I didn't even do something. And I'm not completely sure why this is the case, but it might be possible that the reason why I feel drained is not because of the work itself, but simply because, I don't know, because I don't bring enough energy to the work and I don't push through the resistance as I could. And so, I mean, oh, that's not really it. The thing is more that when I come home after work and I have not pushed through the resistance that I felt at work that I could have pushed through, then I just feel bad about myself because I haven't tried as hard as I could have tried. And that's really what it comes down to. Um, if you're in a shitty position, at least try to be the best you can possibly be and don't use cheap excuses to be lazy. And so the two areas where I can improve even at work is basically resistance. So doing things I don't really, or it's like doing things that I feel resistance to do. And there's a difference between things I don't want to do and things that I feel resistance to do. Because resistance is like, what I mean by resistance is the feeling that occurs when you've, it's basically, let's try this again. Resistance is when you feel like you don't want to do something, even though that thing would be good for you. And that is resistance, and then just not wanting to do something, in my terms, means you don't want to do it because you know it wouldn't be good for you if you did this thing, but you're like pushed by someone else to do it. And so pushing for resistance is something you can definitely train, or I at least can train while at work. And then also presence, which is just not getting lost in thought. And I mean, you can practice that in every situation. And then to problems, it's like basically having too many sources of resistance. And what this essentially means is, in one of my videos, I already talked about this idea that you want to live a compounding life, and that there are different areas where you can use compounding to your advantage, like health, relationships, especially money, basically all the skills that you learn. If you're smart about it, you can also compound. And then that there are some, let's call them skills, that are basically at play, not really are at play at all times, but that cannot be taken from you. And like one of those skills is to push through discomfort. And what I'm starting to realize is that I don't just want to push through discomfort, I want to push through quiet discomfort. And it's like quiet discomfort is when there's one thing that you absolutely do not want to do and that you know would be good for you if you did it. And everything that is on your mind is just this one thing that you should do. And this was the case back in the day when I had the urges to eat processed food. And so I managed to essentially make that urge incredibly explicit and only and be aware and be very aware of that urge, and then to say nope, I won't do it. I will push through this discomfort of resisting that urge. And I managed to do this. But what's happening right now, and I felt pretty good about myself and I was pretty calm and at the same time pushing through discomfort. And basically, therefore, because I was pushing through discomfort, I was building the skill of being able to push through discomfort. And you can also, maybe I should call this too many sources of discomfort. But today, I feel there were like at least half a dozen things that I either should have pushed myself to do or that I should have pushed myself not to do. But I couldn't because I couldn't really single them out and focus on one thing at a time. I felt incredibly overwhelmed and at the same time didn't do the things I should be doing. And I mean, you could argue that this is basically a lack of clarity. But then again, what exactly is clarity? So, I mean, the goal of this is also to make tomorrow better, to be better tomorrow than I was today. And so, what are our sources of discomfort? It was basically taking snacks. What else? I can't even remember, to be real. It's like basically some YouTube. Watching YouTube, definitely. because I felt like shit today, and watching YouTube is I think is my main mechanism to deal with my bad mood. And arguably, my problem is not that watching YouTube is my main mechanism to deal with my bad mood. I think the problem, or the reason why I see watching YouTube as a problem now, is because it's not working anymore as a mechanism to get into a better mood. So taking snacks, watching YouTube, really this comes back to see work as a way to improve yourself, not working. And I just think like lots of negative thoughts, or just thinking at all, because on paper what I am trying and what I'm horribly failing at to do is to be present, which basically at all times, which basically means not to think a lot. Do not think, or to be in a state of not thinking. Arguably making this video is also just thinking, but okay. And so yeah, those are some of the things. And so I'm going to try to implement all of this into one system that I can then look at tomorrow and try to get better. So it's not watch YouTube while eating. I think the way I can reframe this is these are basically actions. And then before taking actions come attitudes. Oh, yeah, let's call it attitude. And so taking the actions, that's like C taking the actions as a win, and fuck results. Well, this is arguably part of the bad mood that I'm in, and it's making me tearing up, holy shit. I just watched a YouTube, or I felt the urge to watch a YouTube video today. I'm not sure if it was good to give in to that urge. Maybe not. Maybe it was. But I basically almost exactly 2 years ago in 2023, and it's insane how fast time goes by. Like, when 2023 happened, I couldn't even process that it was already 2023. And now we are almost a quarter through 2025. And I won't fucking lie, the realization that time goes by faster and faster as you age. Or not like, it's not a realization, because I think people have talked about this, or I've seen some YouTube videos talking about it already. So I had like the kind of the realization on the level of the mind, let's say, on a conceptual level. but it's really the experience of just looking back at some memories and realizing this has been, I don't know, 3 years ago, and that the memory you just made from the beginning of the year actually was now 3 months ago. And so this is where this quote I'm typing right now comes from. It's like, whatever happens, happens. And so at the beginning of 2023, it was I think like end of February, beginning of March. I was also very depressed, or already very depressed. And I don't know, there are just some moments in life, and oftentimes just random moments, that I remember with intense clarity, and where I also think where I was very present in that moment. And like, first watching that video, which was a Cowboy Bebop clip. I haven't even watched the anime, but it was just basically just this one scene. Whatever happens, happens. And it's like, if I could truly commit, or if I knew how to live out this idea, whatever happens, happens in my life, I think my life would become a lot more better, or much better. And I was also thinking today about what I wish I had, or what I could have done over the last 2 years, and how in that moment when I watched that video, I was in the same kind of headspace that I'm in right now, and which is essentially that I have wasted so many opportunities in the past, and that my life is complete shit right now. And it really hurts to sit here now thinking back of this moment 2 years ago, and realizing that if I had just somehow, and whatever this means, had gotten my shit together from that moment on, I could have had an incredible life over the last 2 years. And so I arguably should think about what getting my shit together right now means, right? Getting my shit together means for me right now, because I should do holy shit, because I then should do that and just do it for 2 years and see where I end up. And I mean, it's probably these actions, but again, I'm also not quite sure of that. It just might be this whole block, which I will really try to implement into my life. Anyways, so let's try to finish this. I'm actually wondering, I think it's time for me to even just stop the video even. See work as a way to improve yourself, don't watch YouTube while eating, and then yeah, so it's like, oh, damn it. Let's try to do it like this. See work as an opportunity to improve yourself. And I think part of my problem is that the main things I can do to, when I see work as an opportunity to improve myself, would be things that actually happen, or actions that would actually happen outside of work, like getting my fucking haircut in place because my hair sucks right now, or dressing better, or getting a proper grooming routine, or I mean, okay, this is something I can actually do at work, or improving my body language, or at least not my body, just having a sitting and standing straight. And I don't really know where to prioritize the actions that I could take to get better at work, let's say, within this list. Because if I just put them at the back, then I would never do them, basically. Or maybe I would. Maybe I would on the weekends. Maybe that's an idea. And I could also try to do all these things and then work more on some days and work less on others, and then basically use my work time to then have more time to take actions to improve my work. But I don't know how to implement this right now, and I want to finish this. So we then have taking snacks, which on YouTube is already out. It was not working, but anyways. Not working is basically also set by this and then negative thinking and thinking. So let's add stuff here. Ways to train calm discomfort. And it's don't eat snow. Don't eat snacks. And don't think negative thoughts, which of course is just a bad way to put it, but to not think negative thoughts is basically more to, when I realize that I'm in the process of thinking a negative thought, I want to focus my attention on the present and stop thinking that thought, whatever that means. But I think this is something I could have done 2 or 3 times today. So, yeah. I think the main thing that I really have to improve in my life is see taking the actions as a win. Because I'm not sure if these actions are the right actions to see as a win. But that's something for another video. I will see if I can properly implement this and read this tomorrow. And then I will definitely see you tomorrow and try to make the video a bit shorter tomorrow.